radically successful individuals by many metrics, and yet these people are perpetually miserable. Being excellent does not rescue you from the feelings of loneliness. A lot of my channel, I've just shared my journey, primarily academically, getting familiar with the material and the learning style and learning pace and things that I was very unfamiliar with the academic background that I had, despite being very smart. I've always been a very intelligent woman. I stand on that. I've always gotten good grades when I was young. I graduated at the top of my class. That's not something you do on accident, right? That's not something you just stumble into. That is a part of your nature, your mental, psychological makeup, and so that's not anything that I ever have taken for granted. However, there is so much personal and emotional deficit that I am just now uncovering, discovering, healing, even just touching on, and I notice a shift in a lot of my uploads where I'm talking more about Z as a human being, Z as a woman, Z as she approaches her 30s, and I love that for myself. And I really want for people who come across my channel to understand that I'm not sharing these things from a space of selfishness, that I understand that sometimes you literally just don't have the resources and the support and the understanding of what the heck is going on with you, that sometimes you need to hear somebody else say it. You need to have an emotional connection, an emotional experience to be able to say like, wow, no, I went through that too. I went through that. That sounds familiar to me. I can relate to that. And I think that we can get very lost. We can get lost in the superficial things of how to study, how to learn, how to listen, how to provide patient care, how to check off all of these boxes, these performative boxes. Hey, I'm here on this trip to Mexico that I've taken myself on, and I've had this very humbling realization that I am actively mothering myself. Like I'm trying not to cry, hold on. I am actively being this feminine maternal presence that I've always wanted. Even a paternal presence, right? Like I am acting and serving as both a feminine and a masculine aura for me, for the little girl inside of me. And I feel so proud. I feel so proud. I feel so accomplished, not because of the things that I've checked off superficially, not because I'm a black woman in medicine, not because, I'm a black woman who got into her dream school of choice, who, works for AI companies. I have all these things that I can say about myself, but what I am most proud of is that I have been intentional, that I have been patient, that I have been aware on purpose about my true needs. I don't want to have another year of life where I am just floating by, where I am just, again, checking off these superficial boxes and people can tell me that I look great on paper, but internally I'm empty. I'm empty and I'm bare. And that's a lot of people in these excellent professions. There's a reason why people in Hollywood seem so crazy. I don't even like to use that word, but for real, there's a lot of like wickety wackety do things that go on in Hollywood, that go on in sports, that go on in the entertainment industry. And these are like radically successful individuals by many metrics. They're millionaires, billionaires, have multiple corporations, have vast networking opportunities, have experiences that your average person can't even dream of, can't even think of. And yet these people are perpetually miserable. They're miserable, they're unhappy, they're unkind. You wouldn't want to be around them. They're dangerous, uniquely dangerous to themselves and others. I genuinely believe that happens when you don't take the time to recognize the wounds that you have left unhealed. I had no choice but to be excellent. I had no choice but to become a version of myself that I could feel worthy and proud of, because I didn't get it growing up. It's not that my parents never told me, good job, congratulations. They were proud of me, but it wasn't consistent. They were so self-absorbed in their own problems and their own shortcomings, which I do have a lot of empathy for, especially having black parents from the ghetto. My parents were born and raised in Baltimore. They were born and raised in circumstances that I couldn't even, I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy. If you've ever seen The Wire, my running joke is that some of those people are my family members. They're based on my family, and it's filmed around the neighborhoods where my family grew up. I've witnessed a couple of very traumatic and traumatizing things that have occurred in the inner ghettos of Baltimore. And so I will never take that away from them, that they survived the best way that they knew how, but they simply were not there in the way that I needed, in the structure that I needed. And I had no choice but to figure it out for myself. And again, I could stay and remain in this pride that I've generated this life for myself that I've always dreamed of, but that's not enough. I also have to be able to have days where I'm happy that I just got out of bed. Days where I'm happy that I got to eat the foods that I want. I got to just not work for the day. Like, I have to be proud that I get to be that little kid, that I get to mother her. I'm not sure that any of this even makes sense. A part of me was kind of hesitant on uploading this because, again, I know that so many people come to my platform, they come to my channel primarily to see me talk about like my time progressing like as a doctor. But I just don't think that I could become the type of physician that I know that I'm going to be with such greater confidence without these realizations, without these moments where I stop and I reflect and I express and I share and I have the vulnerability and that I have the transparency and authenticity and that I have the opportunity to share with other people. I know that I kind of make jokes a lot in my videos, and I'm like, you know, oh, give me a hug. If you didn't hear it today, I'm proud of you. But I really mean that. And I don't know, man, I wish that everybody developed stable and consistent emotional fluency with themselves. I truly don't believe that you can become the doctor, the mom, the dad, the chef, the whoever you want to be. I don't think that you can get there if you're not taking care of like the previous versions of you first. If you're just abandoning them, if you're just like, whatever, that was a bad season of my life. And you're not actually fostering the lessons and the things in those past seasons, you are just continuing a cycle of neglect onto yourself. I have so many classmates that tell me, you know, they never want to be a surgeon. They didn't even know if they wanted to be a doctor because of how absent their father or their mother was. Like, I had a real good random heart-to-heart with this classmate, and I can't even remember his name. Remember, we were talking about specialties of interest, and he was like, yeah, at first I really thought about surgery, but then I remembered that all of the days where I wish my dad was home, where I had a baseball game or I had a project that I really wanted to show him and he wasn't there. It was emotional neglect in action. Now, he didn't say that part, I'm saying it, but he was just describing how he does not want to be that kind of man. And I could see how much hurt and pain that he had behind his eyes as he was saying that. I just want to pop back in and say, I'm not trying to perpetuate this idea that you cannot be a successful surgeon or somebody that has a substantially busy life while simultaneously being a great parent. There are plenty of people who find the balance of both. And honestly, this is something that has been debated for a long time now on how to achieve that balance or that work-life integration. I think that, you know, Grey's Anatomy does a really good job showing that dichotomy between Christina Yang and Meredith Grey around this exact principle. But I think the problem is a lot of these excellent people where they will bury themselves in work. They are not actively thinking about how to make their work life more integrated. No, they're kind of running away from whatever emotional dialogue, emotional responsibility, and expectations that are to be had as a parent, as a spouse, and just like, oh, I gotta go to work, oh, I'm busy, because they've never truly learned how to address these feelings. They've pretty much been on autopilot, an autopilot of excellence. That's what I'm referring to. And I don't know, I just think before y'all go around idolizing a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer, a nurse, really anybody that's practicing in the field that demands so much of them, that demands so much self-sacrifice, you take a moment to appreciate what they may not be addressing for themselves, what they may need, again, neglecting and abandoning in themselves. I can see why, kind of side tangent, The Pit won an Emmy, because I think that they did a very beautiful job demonstrating that. Dr. Robbie and the nurse Dana, the charge nurse Dana, they did so good to show your most excellent and capable person is a person who feels like they're drowning and suffocating and they don't have time to rescue themselves. Your most excellent and capable person is somebody who's going through real trauma, real things that like you probably need to go see a therapist for, you probably need to sit down for a second for, who feels like they can't. There was an episode, not to spoil it, because I do encourage people to watch it if you have HBO Max. There was an episode where Dana assaulted, like she got punched in the freaking face by a patient, and there she was in the bed helping the other nurses, like charting out, you know, the things for the other nurses to do. And it wasn't that the other nurses were incapable, but they were so used to her being strong. They were so used to her having it together and being able to push through and pull through no matter what. Even Dr. Langdon, oh, Dana, please help me, please help me. And it was like, you could just see how tired she was. Like, she was tired of not taking care of herself. And so the thing that I am most proud of this season, and I will keep saying it, is that I have found new ways, new tools, new skills to take care of Z. I am not happy that I failed step 1 the first time, like not at all. But like, I am excited. I am excited to tell the story that I have uncovered and unmasked, to say with confidence, I don't think that I would be as good at my job as I plan to be without that season of my life. I genuinely think that I needed time to go through it. And I mean, Lord, I went through it for 15 months. I needed time to get in that, to then show myself I'm here, right? Like, to show myself that I am always going to be a stable base, a stable home. I have the means, the peace, the maturity, the understanding for Z, that Z is always going to be good. And that I'm able to communicate properly and effectively my needs without fear. I refuse to go into a care team and feel like I can't tell people I need a break. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. You're not going to make me feel bad for saying, hey, I'm overwhelmed, because you're not going to put me in a position where I don't show up as my best self for a patient and then fuck them over. And I don't think that I'd be so bold in saying that if I didn't have this season. I'm so sorry that I haven't been as consistent on this page as I want to be. I just think that I had a lot of growing pains, and these are the moments and the times that matter the most before anything. Y'all will see me do my victory lap. Y'all will see me talk about the AI companies that I've been recruited to. You'll see me talk about, you know, the leadership roles and how that's been going. You'll see me talk about how I'm studying, getting ready for clinic, how excited I am to get back into clinic. I'll take you with me to a couple of clinics. I have mentors that I need to catch up with, research papers that I need to finish. I have so much that I need to get done, and I'm excited. Like, I'm excited for the first time in a long time to go home and just get it done, to go home and plan it out and just be the superficial Z, because I know that the deeper parts of me, they're good. They're good. They're stable. The baseline of the iceberg, it's not going like this anymore. It's not weavy and wobbly. The Titanic is not going to sink. I know now that I have a stable platform to do everything that I need to do up here, and I'm excited. Thank y'all so much if you have been on this journey with me. Again, I'm proud of you if you also find yourself in one that's similar. And honestly, if you feel like you need to start one, I hope that these kinds of videos that I post, I hope that they help you in some way, shape, or form. That's it. That's all that I have, and I will see y'all again next week.